Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the OSRL Storm Engineering Premier Series. We are back once again, the third race of the season. And it's the Con Software West Coast Grand Prix. Griffin Jones stepping up to sponsor the second week in a row here on the Puffer Zone Network on Thursday nights. Welcome back. Happy to have you. I am Matt Spalding. I'm joined alongside myself in the booth by Josh Morgan. As always, Josh, how are we doing tonight?
We are doing well. Third straight week of high-speed, high-bank action. Except it's a little bit different this time. Much wider racing surface to deal with. It is Auto Club Speedway, or Rancho Cucamonga Speedway, California Speedway, whatever you like to call it, for a little less distance this time around compared to the last couple of races. It is 150 miles compared to the 200 for the two opening races at Daytona and Atlanta 08. So it's only 75 laps on the docket tonight. Let's take a look at our starting grid, starting off with your pole sitter, Josh Chin. He is joined alongside by last week's winner, Aaron Smith in the 700.
Joe Armstrong will be on the outside row. He'll be joined by Kyle Ritchie with a great qualifying effort in the fourth spot. Then it'll be Cole Freilich, our points leader through 2 weeks, in fifth, and Spencer Ray in sixth, Stephen Gibson in seventh, and Chris Pervaleric is eighth, AJ Green in ninth, and Harry Grindell rounds out the top 10. Remember, Harry had a great result last week, finished second, best ever in OSRL. Tyler Lannon will be our 11th place starter, then Bobby Blazer, then Jack Painter, then Mo Perry, then Josh Stoltz, then Nathan Kiani, then Ethan Stuckwish, then Ruby Estes, then Nolan Sanford, then Tristan Baker. We're going to get stereotypically a little, not all the way through the field, but that's okay. We're going to go green here at Auto Club. Look at the lights. That tells you when it's the race happens. There, go. Green flag! Joe Armstrong making his season debut, and look at him charge around the outside, going for the race lead, and he has it off of turn number 2.
Chin will get in line in second, Smith third, Freilich in fourth, staggered 3 and 4 wide for about fifth on back. Grindell's way up the hill already, trying to get that top lane to stick from out to the top 10, but he's in the wall outside of 4 on the exit of the first lap.
I've almost been the second week in a row where I played the Indy theme for way too long throughout the broadcast. That is one of the more embarrassing things I've done, but you know what? I'm really bad with audio. I've always been really bad with audio, and nobody in the chat said anything about it. So I'm sorry, but when I have no warning about anything negative that's happening, especially with audio, visually I can depict something, I can figure something going on, but if there's something audio-wise that's messed up, then I'm not picking up on it. Our first battle for position right now is Stephen Gibson and Chris Pervaleric, as we got trouble in the back of the pack.
One car
Dane
spinning
Stinson,
by
I believe.
itself.
Sorry, that's Gavin Newton, rather.
Yeah, that is Gavin Newton in the 048. Might have had a little bit of help. Turn 4 is kind of one of the calamity corners around here.
That's a terrible camera angle, Jesus.
Oh, he was way loose.
Got a couple of 48s. Oh, Gamboa gets up the track.
He gets a little help from Gamboa. He's been chasing that car for a solid couple hundred meters before it just goes all the way down the hill.
And he had to end up sliding down across pit road, and he keeps it out of pit road, so he's going to stay on track here, and he's going to have a challenge ahead of him, and we got a challenge for the race lead right now between Joe Armstrong and Josh Chin.
And Aaron Smith, too, has been swallowed up a little bit by the pack under assault from Spencer Ray and Stephen Gibson.
The spinner is Kyle Ritchie.
Kyle Ritchie spinning off a 2 into the inside. Josh Chin took the lead. While that was happening, got a great crossover on Armstrong onto the back straight. Now it's Armstrong on the bottom after he had the top lane in 1 and 2. Not quite able to get back to the private label driver, now leading his first laps of the season.
It's not been the season that Josh Chin has wanted so far. He's kind of been stuck in the middle or back of the pack in a lot of in the first couple of races, and just has not. Last week, remember, he was involved in, I believe, what was the first wreck of the night?
First wreck of the night had about 3 or 4 minutes of optional that he was basically nursing the entire way and trying to get repaired when he could. Got all the way back to 9th at the end of that race, which is a remarkable result considering the circumstances for Chin. As we're looking a little deeper in the top 10, it is Tyler Lynn and Bobby Blazer side by side here in the quad oval.
And this is your closest battle right now to dead even as they cross the start-finish line. Saw Cole Freilich blinking out up there, and that's been an issue for him in the first couple weeks of the season. Has not ended up hurting him big time. Has not cost him a drop or anything like that so far, but I don't know. How about a good run right here for Christopher Valeric is very early in the going, running 7th. Right ahead of AJ Green.
He's found himself a good spot to kind of ride. He's can kind of just take advantage of the draft from Aaron Smith, who might be playing it a little bit conservative to start the race in terms of tire life, and kind of use that to his advantage to play a little bit of defense from AJ Green behind.
I think that we had maybe clipping the wall back there. Freilich has been looking for this second position on Armstrong, just has not had the momentum yet required. And you see all the way throughout the field, single file Isaac Johnson in the wall back there. These guys scramble. William Schmidt's back there. Griffin Jones, race sponsor. It was a tragedy for Griffin Jones last week where I didn't make the race. So, I mean, it's honestly, it's a little bit too sensitive of a topic, and we don't really want to talk about it. But thankfully he's here. He did receive points for last week's race, even though he wasn't in it. And it was an unfortunate mistake that he wasn't. But he's here. Shout out to Griffin Jones and the Lucas Oil, the very familiar 53 Lucas Oil weed machine.
It's a home race for Lucas Oil as well, so if we want to get some good laps going, make his way through the field.
Nathan Kiani down here. Was not a good second race of the season for Kiani last week. He's trying to improve his fortunes a little bit. Got William Schmidt back here. Oh, and Kiani and Stuckwish, that is, going together. It's been about the opposite for Ethan Stuckwish. A wonderful start to the season for him. He is currently your third-place points man for 2 races.
Newer returning callers for Stuckwish. He's got the Bilstein 150-year anniversary, I believe it is, for that 35 machine. Looking pretty damn good. Like the gold number on the side in particular, that Bilstein Ford Fusion.
I am going to say here, I think that the yellow and the yellow on the side and the number should be the same color.
They should. Or the same specular map.
Yeah. But I think it's a very nice looking car. I love it. Oh, Nolan Sanford's going to get sideways off a 4 rather. So we'll have to maybe be expecting that as this run develops. Some guys getting sideways.
4 is one of the calamity corners around here, especially with how it kind of funnels everybody together at the top of the hill and the exit of the corner. That's where one of the main spaces that we see clashes and collisions around on this speedway. You got a little bit more space to work with off of 2 than off of 4, and then we're going to see people kind of dart and weave and ride the dragon on the back straightaway as we see William Schmidt go to the inside of Grindel, try and take the position. That'll be 2:13 for Schmidt going out of turn 4.
Grindel with a massive run off the top side, though, and he'll look right back to that bottom lane. He'll clear, in fact, going into turn number 1. Strong momentum down the front stretch for that 70. And we've got a battle for the race lead as we speak. Josh Chin and Cole Freilich has gotten up here. He's gotten past Joe, and he's looking for the race lead. And this is a 3-car battle for the race lead, in fact.
They got a little bit of breathing room from Spencer Ray. Door shut on Armstrong. He thought about going 3 wide initially off of 4, but then Chin and Freilich go to their separate lanes not to really interfere with each other. Freilich will back out a little early to let Armstrong take second to try and go after Chin, who is rim riding through 1 and 2 on the top. At the same time, Steven Gibson's in the wall. Tried to carry a little too much momentum off the top. Loses a little bit of time as Armstrong's got a good run and trying to bridge the gap to Chin in the lead.
On board with Joe. 22 on your timing screens, 20 in the game. He said that he meant to have the 22 on, but that's okay. Tried to get up alongside Shin right there, and he was up alongside of him through the center of the corner, just could not maintain the momentum, and just look how much Josh pulls away on the front stretch with that outside lane. And Josh is ripping it up there on the top.
He flies into turn 1, kind of goes down about a lane and a half through turn 2, allow that momentum kind of carry him a lot of the way, and that's giving him just that little bit of extra breathing space on the back straightaway to really prevent the draft from being a big factor into turn 3.
Armstrong gonna look low again.
And then Armstrong will try and decrease the radius of the turn to try and bridge the gap, but Chin just has the momentum working that top lane right now, and it's working a treat for the 93.
13 laps green here so far, and wide track here at Auto Club. It lends itself to green flag runs, for sure. It's our first big battle for position right here. It's Lannon and Painter going at it. This is for 11th.
And we really haven't seen much effects of tire wear either so far. So 3 wide, staggered 3 with Schmidt trying to get a big run off of 4. He's going to get blocked in by Lannon, who is still side by side with Painter for position. That is for 11th on the track right now. It is going to be a one-stop race, though, pretty comfortably, I would feel like. It's just a question of, do you pit before halfway, at halfway, directly, or a little bit after halfway, try and make your run to the finish a little bit better, because that did play a big factor when you saved and when you pit, when we had our green flag run to the end at Atlanta last week.
And we're on board with the second place finisher Atlanta last week. Man up in front of him, that #1 machine. That was Tyler Lannon had a winning. He had winning speed.
He had a hot rod last week.
He was quick, at least on the short runs. You know, I'm not sure what it would have been like on that final 30-lap run. But Tyler Lannon in that Coastal Carolina #1 as he gives Mo Perry a shot through the corner. Those are different colors and a different number for the Mo Perry this week. Running his what you would expect him to see. Look out here! No, he just drove right up into him. And Mo walls himself, walls AJ Green. AJ was the pole sitter last week. His race went south immediately. Mo's got a broken toe link. Look out! Kevin Ritchie nearly came in and sideswiped him. Looks like everybody's going to be all right here.
Green was very slow through the middle of 1 and 2. Might have just rode the wall and was finally able to yank it out. And then when Mo tried to clear up in front of him exiting 2, just completely guessed wrong and caused that calamity to occur. Back to the front of the field.
Armstrong is continuing to work away at Josh Chin. Look at him throw it in.
Here comes the slide job.
Oh!
There comes the crossover from Chin. Chin is wheeling that thing below Armstrong. They're side by side for the lead.
Awesome battle here. I can't believe that Armstrong made that stick. I think that if Chin held his line, that might have been a massive crash. That's why you saw him duck out of line. Now Chin gonna try to pull the same maneuver on Armstrong. Solid use of the reversal camera there for me. But Joe looks back to the inside. Never mind. He's gonna look back and try to maybe pull another slide job of his own. And all this is lovely for Cole Freilich behind, who had dropped back a little bit, but he's right back in this. Now Chin pins him down on the lower groove of the racetrack. It's
Serve goes to Chin that time around. He's got about a car length and a half over Armstrong at the stripe. Armstrong again going to the middle groove. Chin staying on the top lane. Freilich got a lot of momentum through 1 and 2. Got a great run through the corner. Did the current points leader, but still just too far back to try and take an advantage. But Armstrong still there. Maybe going to go for a look into 3.
And there you see differing lines. Armstrong all the way up on the top of the track, rim riding above that top seam. I think he might have even clipped the wall. He's in the wall now.
Wall.
Didn't hurt him too
So
much, but
Smith.
he's going to fall back here to Freilich for sure. So Chin gets some breathing room. Gotta wonder what Joe's tires are like.
Chin's in the wall. He might have clipped the wall a little bit as well.
Is.
He's gaining a lot of time as Armstrong.
Chin hit the wall all the way through turns 1 and 2, and it opens the door right back up for Joe. Is he clear? Yes! New leader, Joe Armstrong, but Josh Chin is not going to take too kindly to that. Let's see if he throws it into 3.
And here comes Cole Freilich as well. He is the biggest benefactor of Chin being in the wall through 1 and 2. It's opened up the door for the points leader, and Aaron Smith, too, has been kind of waiting in the wings for something to happen. Has closed up the gap as well.
This is a 6-car battle. 6 cars, and within a second of the race leader, all the way back to Steven Gibson. Spencer Ray
Chris Pervaleric is still holding strong in 7th in his Mustang Cobra as Freilich clips the wall just a little bit. He's able to get it out of there right away in his Camry and still maintain momentum. A great piece of driving from Freilich there. But he still needs to get hustling to get back up to Chin.
That was a wonderful job by Freilich there to make that to save that situation, I suppose. It could have been a lot worse. Could have drove that thing in the wall throughout the entirety of turn 2. It's a great battle right here. Now Steven Gibson's going to look for 5th spot on Spencer Ray. Remember, Steven was in 5th. Clipped the wall.
3 wide deeper in the field. Crossing the stripe. Don't know who that is. Looks like it's Kiani. It's Ruby Estes. They were 3 wide across the stripe. Estes is now in the wall. Gonna lose a couple of spots there to Kalhoff and Kiani. They're still 3 wide coming off of turn 2.
We got to pay attention to the mid-pack also, you know. This is a great race right now developing. Everybody's going at it. Greg Kalhoff in that 63, one of only 3 drivers who has finished in the top 10 in both races to start this year. He's currently running 15th. He would like to go 5 spots better and continue what has been a good start to Season 7. Chin's regrouped. He's doing what he can here. Kind of little tandems here developing in the top 6. Armstrong and Chin, then Freilich and Smith, then Gibson, who has gotten past Spencer Ray.
Yeah, it's about 3.5 tenths from Chin to Freilich. There goes Chin way to the bottom, trying to cut the radius of the corner again. Not quite able to clear. Armstrong has the run. Going to go down to the bottom. Chase the dragon a little bit with Chin, who will follow him in kind. You're approaching 3rd distance of this race.
What were we doing? Chasing dragons.
That's was it the snake, the dragon?
I thought it was like,
called an IndyCar.
Oh, I thought that was like the snake. I think. I thought I think were you referring to
Same,
like you're chasing the dragon? That's a different type of.
That's a different type of thing.
But that's okay.
But you know what I mean.
I don't think
though,
that we
right?
have the disclaimer on the show. Like and why would we? Because we aren't doing drugs really necessarily here.
No.
I mean, we could if we really wanted to, or like have nudity or stuff like that. But yeah, that's really not our game. I think Jonathan Oates would get even more upset.
Even madder at us
with the content
it's
of
the
the broadcast.
Snake. It's the IndyCar snake that Armstrong was doing last time around. But Chin got a great run off before. Used a lot of the draft from the 20 on
slider.
Screen. Go for a slider through 1 and 2.
Oh,
clears him
in the wall too. Just scraped it a bit, I think. As you see Freilich on the right side of your screen, continuing to stave off Smith for 3rd. What a battle this has been. Look at Joe slide up in front of the 93.
Deep lunge from Armstrong, but that completely compromised the middle of the corner, which meant that Chin got a better drive off of turn 4 at the stripe. A near dead heat between the two. They're still gaining time to Freilich and Smith behind.
25 laps into this race. No cautions. Great battle for the lead. Great battle going on behind him.
No caution, but a couple of pitters at 3rd distance might be cutting this race into 3rds. Grindel, Stoltz, Falovich, and Kyle Ritchie all in for service at the moment. As Chin and Armstrong side by side, but on opposite ends of the speedway. It's going to be Armstrong getting a great run here off of 4. Chin's going to try and block him in. Armstrong goes to the bottom, gets a great drive, and goes all the way to the apron to try and give himself as much real estate to clear up, and he is able to do so before they get to turn 1.
What a battle this has been. A little look at it from a chase-type camera here. This is Chopper 2 in the track cams for Gourmet's category. Shout out to them.
Kevin Ritchie is also pit as well. He pits this time around. Only 5 or 6 cars have come in for service as of yet. The drop-off is about 2 seconds from their fastest lap to now. It's around like a very low 40, and currently they're doing about 42.3, 42.4s in and around the front of the field.
At the stripe that time, it was 42.1 for Joe Armstrong as he's into clean air. Fastest car on the racetrack is that race leader. Look at him, 3 wide back there. Landon slides up in front of both Spencer Wright and Chris Pervalericus, and he takes this, Landon pit. So that's why he's got the speed on these guys.
He's getting his lap back the hard way right now, and he's already ahead of Gavin Newton, who we saw had those struggles early on in the going. William Schmidt pits for service in his 79 machine, as we see Landon now past Aaron Smith too. Still got a couple of cars to go. Get back on the lead lap.
It's interesting for these guys who came in at this point in the race. 48 laps on a tank is a lot. We've seen him go upwards of 40, maybe even longer at Daytona, which is probably a more gas-demanding racetrack than this, I would say for sure. But that would still be a long distance, 47 laps. Or in Tyler Landon's case, it would be 51 laps as he unlaps himself here. So at least Landon's nightmare scenario is avoided.
I'm thinking they're doing a 2-stop race if they pit right around now. You cut the race evenly into thirds. You just have to have enough pace to overcome having to pit that extra time, and the fact that you're just going to be on the back foot the entire time. You're under threat if a caution comes out from here on out, basically. As Kalhoff is next to pit. He is the only one who came in that time around. Painter and Ray make contact.
I think Spencer says, hey, my bad. I did not mean to do that. You can have this 7th position right here, Jack. Because that was out of nowhere. And
Grindell is flying. He's on the fresh tires. Going to try and bob and weave around everybody. As Jack Painter, one of the better cars in terms of long run pace of those still to pit, as Josh Chin just pit from 2nd, lap 31.
By far our highest pitter. Just trying to give you an onboard here, just a shot of what the speed difference is like for a car on new tires compared to these guys that are on the older tires, and Rendell doing a very good job of navigating. Let's take a look at Josh Chin on pit road
also
here.
Pit with Chin.
And will we be seeing Joe Armstrong trying to combat that? Here he comes. Oh boy, he better have gotten knocked up. That's going to be a tough one, and we got a lot of takers in behind
Gibson,
Joe.
Pervalericus, Spencer Ray, Ethan Stuckwish, Bobby Blazer, Caden Rife, Rubiesta, Dane Stinton, all pitting right now.
The majority of the top 10 coming in this time. Joe Armstrong, I don't know. We better hope.
It's gonna be borderline.
I'm gonna close the leaderboard. I'm gonna hit entries and see if Joe has a black flag. He does not have a black flag. I think he's okay. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna confirm that, but I think Joe's okay.
Top 9 still on the speedway. Aaron Smith, Jack Painter, Isaac Johnson, Josh Gosselin, Nolan Sanford, Tristan Baker, Griffin Jones, AJ Green, Mo Perry, but Aaron Smith coming in this time.
We're going to watch this. This is going to be your battle for the lead after they cycle through. It is Joe Armstrong. It is Josh Chin. Armstrong on the apron. Chin going through turns 1 and 2. There is your gap, and Joe Armstrong looks like he's going to win out big time here with a laps advantage on his tires and about 3 seconds on Josh Chin. Also going to have William Schmidt in between them. We've got 3 cars that have stayed out on track right now. Jack Painter, Tristan Baker, Mo Perry. And you see Aaron Smith there, as Josh mentioned, in the pits.
AJ Green, Nolan Sanford, Isaac Johnson, Griffin Jones, and Josh Gosselin all also in. And the big difference between Josh Chin and Joe Armstrong, overall transit time, 2 seconds better was Joe on his pit stop compared to Chin. And that is most of the difference between the two back on track.
Josh had a 15-second stop in the box, excuse me, rather, that's Harry Grindell. So they were it was 14 to 14-1 in the box between Joe and Josh, but Joe rather being so aggressive on his pit entry and ending up not getting caught for that speeding penalty. Nailed it. I mean, he nailed it. 2 seconds. He gained 2 seconds of time to Chin, and that is all the difference. That is the difference pretty much right now.
Of those who have pit, Tyler Lannon is the leader. He has been able to make the undercut work very well. And he's got clean air in front of him for a country mile. It's 30 seconds between him and Jack Painter, who is the last one yet to pit. And Harry Grindell, who was another one of the very early pitters, he's up to a third of those who did come in, and William Schmidt's not too far behind. Jack Painter looking to extend this race as far as he can. AJ
Green is not having. AJ Green. So I think that AJ Green might have had a penalty, and then I think he came in and served a penalty, and then I think he might have gotten a penalty serving his penalty. I'm not sure, but with his reaction there as he intentionally speeds down pit road and crashes, I think that he's done.
Oh yeah, it's over.
I think that he has fed the fuck up, and who can blame him if that was actually what happened?
Jack Painter will close the pit window. 36 laps on his Goodyear Eagles in a can of Sunoco race fuel.
Schmidt passed Grindell. You see the damage there on Schmidt's machine, though. Not sure if that was recent or not. This is a good run developing here for Schmidt, who was not this far up in the pack, but kind of bridging the gap here between the strategies of Lannon and the leaders. He's been out there for 8 laps. Joe's been out there for 4. Lannon's been out there for 12. And Lannon has lost the lead to Joe Armstrong. That's how fast Joe is.
That's how fast it happens.
It's 1.2 seconds per lap right now. Joe Armstrong is faster than Tyler Lannon, and he is checked out. Yeah, the gap right now is 2.1 seconds to Josh Chin. That is the exact difference of time in pit road.
Quickest car on track that last time around was Aaron Smith 2, who was back in 9th. He did a 40.441 last time around, but has a lot more work ahead of him to try and bridge the gap to the cars ahead. And Pervalericus actually maintained serve in terms of his position before and after the pit cycle. 7th before and 7th after. That's a pretty good run for the Ford Mustang Cobra driver.
Very solid, consistent race so far. He's battling with Freilich here. And Freilich was one of the losers out of that pit cycle for sure. Has dropped back to 8th, was battling for 3rd with Aaron Smith, and him and Aaron are both going to have work to do here to get back to where they were before that run had developed, but they do have a couple of cars up here to get past that they're going to be able to work around on the tires eventually. Josh Chin is through to 2nd, and it's approximately 2 seconds between him and Joe Armstrong, and now Chin's got to track him down.
And we're only 6 or 7 or so laps into the run for Armstrong and Chin, but the pace has already fallen off by about half a second relative to their initial push laps after they got back onto the speedway. It was a 48.02 for Armstrong last time around, a 40.79.7 for Chin. So Chin is gaining just a little bit, even with the 1 lap worse tires, but it's going to take a lot of work in this middle stint to try and get back to Armstrong before the end.
Oh, Kentucky lost. That's a shame.
That's a damn
They're in my
shame.
Final Four.
It's over.
But that's okay. Because
Matthew
my
did
brackets
not jinx them.
are cooked, and it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna have fun and hope UConn doesn't lose to Auburn. Because if they don't lose to Auburn,
if a 3 or a 4 gets bounced in the first round, you know, That's just basketball, baby.
It
It's also
is.
football, but it's just basketball, baby.
That's a 14. That's a 3v14. That might be that might be the biggest upset this year. You never know, but we still got another day and a half, or a day and like a quarter of games left. This is a whole kerfuffle of tires that are on different strategies and stuff here.
Pervolaricus up to 4th as a result of Schmidt, Lannon, and Grindel all dropping back. This is a great run for Pervolaricus. It's continuing to roll as he might get Gibson here in the next couple of laps.
Freilich as well. I just mentioned that he was back in 7th and 8th position. You know, maybe was not a winner certainly out of that pit road cycle, but here he is in 5th and coming hard. Pause on Pervolaricus for the 4th position. And he's going to get there. I think he's going to have 3rd place here in just a lap or so. But look at Chris battling hard back on the top side. He's not giving this position up easily. See Aaron Smith in the 700, last week's winner, into position as well.
Still side by side for Freilich and Pervolaricus. Pervolaricus trying to find a little bit of real estate. Try and get a little bit of clean air on front of his Ford, just not able to do it as Gibson was way loose, coming out of 2 and in the wall. It's going to force Pervolaricus and Freilich 3 wide with the Toyota Corolla driver. It's going to be tight going into 3. Gibson forced to back off, and they're still 2x2 between the 49 and the 15.
But Gibson backed off for a reason. He's going to come back on the inside. He got sideways on exit. He wanted to do the crossover move, just didn't have the momentum in those tires. Look at Freilich slide up just underneath the rear bumper of that 49 machine. He'll tuck back into line for now, but he'll be coming.
Yep.
Smith is, I don't know why I'm saying that word. Whoa, look out, Steven Gibson. Look out, Pervolaricus sideways. Freilich to the bottom, and Aaron Smith is right into the picture. 4 cars cutting it up for 3rd.
They're now 2x2 formation for 3rd. Freilich's going to go to the bottom, try and get the bottom lane to stick for him, but it's working better for Smith behind. He's going to try and get past Gibson. Freilich able to clear Pervolaricus, put Pervolaricus in an awkward position beside Gibson. 3 wide for 4th now as Freilich looking to check out. And the big benefactor in this is going to be Aaron Smith to the bottom in 1.
So back to our previous running order as things were from the front 4. Joe Armstrong, Josh Shin, Cole Freilich, Aaron Smith. Pervolaricus drops back in line at 5th, but this battle's not over, I don't believe. Gibson going to hang out just for now. What did Cole Freilich do to his tires to get through all those cars there as Aaron Smith kept him on a little bit better than the 15? We're about to find out. You saw Tyler Lannon in the pits there. He was an early taker.
That was only about
second stint.
19 laps or so for Lannon on that stint. He might have had like some damage, or was just deciding I can go to the end on fuel here, and that's gonna be the play. And for Aaron Smith, his long run pace in that stint to the end in Atlanta was the difference. He managed to rally a solid 3 seconds in the last run just on terms of tire conservation. That might be coming to the fore just a little bit here as he's side by side with Freilich for 3rd.
2 side-by-side battles here off of turn number 4. Rubiesta centers the pits here with 30 laps to go. Josh Shin has fallen back about 0.7 of a second since the pit cycle. And since he got through to 2nd place and has only had Joe Armstrong in front of him, he's kind of fallen back into the arms of what is now Aaron Smith in the 3rd spot. He is checked out already from Freilich through 1 and 2. This battle continues. Pervolaricus into the wall, rips it off. That's the most frustrating thing about these cars, I feel like, when you're racing them, is that when you hit the wall, it is really tough to get out of that wall after you're in it, unless you get the right angle or something of that nature.
Is it also like a little bit more difficult, especially here, just with how bumpy the back straight is? Just
yeah,
you have to fight against a little extra element to try and yank it off the wall.
You have a hot voice, Jonathan. People say that my voice is too monotone. By people, I mean Brian Hicks.
Your voice too monotone, Matt. gotta add some inflection.
I feel like I have inflection at the proper times. And
Yes,
I feel like this race has deserved a lot of inflection because it's been it's been an exciting race.
It has been a very good race, as we're looking at Jack Painter, who was the last car to pit in the opening pit window.
That is a good point to mention.
He was about 16th when he initially came out. He's the quickest car on track of those who did pit by about 3 or 4 tenths of a second. Still in the low 41s for the most part is Jack in the Keohane 97 machine. It still needs this race basically to go green to the end for his strategy to stick fully.
I think Pervaleric has hit the wall there down the backstretch. I'm not sure if he got loose or whatever the case was, but he was in a lot of trouble there. Jack is playing a good strategy here. He's going to have to go 40 laps here. I'm not sure if that's going to make it on fuel, but he is so much faster than everybody in front of him here. He's going to get to Spencer Ray easily. Just depends on when these guys pit, really, how successful this stint is going to be for Painter. And depends on also if he can go one more, if he can go all the way. And up here,
yeah, that's the big question.
Second, Aaron Smith is closing. He is there. And he's even a couple of tenths faster the lap than our leader, Joe Armstrong.
He pit 1 lap later than Armstrong and then 2 later than Chin. And we're starting to see that play out just a little bit in the favor of last week's winner. He's going to get a lot of help in the draft as well this time around, help him close the gap to Armstrong, but he will need to get past Chin sooner or later to really be able to mount a charge on the 22.
Here comes Lannon as he's trying to get his lap back once again. Second time that Lannon has been in this situation and not doing anything wrong there, just not the perfect spot for him to be on the outside of Aaron Smith. I'm sure Aaron would have rather that happened earlier in the corner, but
he's got to go, man.
He does have to go. There's really no like not going tenths of a second faster than guys when you're on better tires. It's just not going to happen. But that has stalled Aaron's progress temporarily as we're 2/3 distance of this race.
We're at 2/3 distance. Closest battle on track as I believe 16th, 17th. With Keani Gosselin. They're nose to tail heading into turn 1. There's Josh Gosselin, who got a podium result last week at Atlanta with help with all the attrition. He's kind of mired in the back half of the top 20. Still big points battles throughout all this race. And if you can get a decent result out of this, that's one less race you have to worry about in terms of having a potentially less than ideal drop week. That will come into effect later on in the year. Battle for second kicking off. More cars coming into the pits. Kyle Ritchie, Josh Stoltz, with Smith going to the bottom of Chin for second through 1 and 2.
Easily into the second spot goes Aaron Smith. He'll set his sights on Joe Armstrong. I think that I'm not sure. Not sure if he can track him down. I'm also really not sure if these guys are going to be coming into pit again. That's the real question here. If they aren't coming into pit again, then Jack Painter is booking it. He just got past Spencer Ray. He's already about to pass Chris Pervaleric. Is then just a second or so up the road will be Steven Gibson. If we don't see another set of pit stops here, Jack Painter might have nailed the strategy with a massive overcut.
And there is no like reduced fuel tank size. It is just the default iRacing set with just like a condition change to make certain lanes maybe work a little bit better. We have Harry Grindell, Nolan Sanford pitting this time. Grindell was 3rd or 4th when the cycle initially completed for the first round of pit stops. He then dropped way in the order just with the much more worn tires. He will be outside of the top 20 when he cycles. We're looking at Griffin Jones. I believe that's Dylan Falovich. We're looking at as well.
I was going to say, so I just wanted to mention that there have been a couple of, I did this a couple of times last year where, I specifically remember doing it one time last year. There are a couple of drivers whose names we have not mentioned a single time on this broadcast yet up until this point. One of them was Dylan Falovich.
One of them.
And I believe there's one more maybe that we just... Well, there's a couple, I think, but namely one who we really
I see the other one.
Can you...
see...
You can say his name.
He's, Tristan Baker.
Tristan Baker.
51.
He's there. Honestly, there's a few guys that we really haven't talked about. I was thinking about Dane Stinson. We've really only been able to focus on the top 10 because this race is going green and nothing has really gone on chaotic further back in the
Landon
field.
has got his lap back the hard way. Chin is keeping serve with Smith, doing a pretty good job in doing that, and that's probably going to work out in Chin's favor. I would expect Chin probably just ride back there unless he wants to take position, probably pit when Aaron Smith does to try and kind of work together to get back to Armstrong, because the gap at the moment between the top two, 3.5 seconds.
We're going to see 20 laps to go this time by. Joe's probably a little bit of appreciative of this, of Landon, you know, helping him give a little bit of draft here. It was 0.2 of a second faster than Aaron Smith last lap.
Spencer Ray, Bobby Blazer pit. That was 23 laps each for their stints, and they're joined by Kalhoff, Gosselin, and Griffin Jones this time around. And Jack Painter only on lap 20 of the stint. The farthest we've seen everybody go is about 20. He's only seen about 27, 28 of everybody who's currently pit, and he went until lap 36, I believe it was. He went very deep into the first stint. Yeah, he pit around around 40 laps to go in the race. How about Josh Shin here? He is sticking up behind Aaron Smith, and I want to go on board with Aaron Smith here. Not fuel saving. I was just curious there because Aaron got up to and past Josh with relative ease, and now kind of stuck behind him. But then you see Josh through turns 1 and 2 there. He's going to lose lose a little bit of gap. Lose time. Words are hard. And you saw Freilich even slide the tires. Jack Painter is going to be into a top 5 position in turn 3, and I mean, let me tell you, he is moving. He's evened out on pace with these. With everyone around him.
With these cats in front of him, but he still does have about a 10th or 2 a lap. Aaron Smith's going to come in this time.
Josh Chin stays out, and I was kind of expecting him to shadow Aaron Smith the whole way through. That'll move Painter up to 4th, who is a little under 7 seconds behind Armstrong. They were actually, Painter and Armstrong were even in terms of lap time last time around. So tires have evened out, but it's all going to be about how much farther can Painter go to the end. Can it be a one-stop for Jack? That is the question heading into the closing 20 laps.
I think that Jack's got a good shot at this race if he stays out. I think it would be really tough to catch back up to him. You can see him already. The tires are... He certainly does not have the tires that he previously had. That time around 42.139, it was a 151 and a 152 for Freilich and Chin, so dead even on the lap times. But
it was a 359 for Armstrong, crucially as well, closing the gap just a little bit as everyone's going to try and navigate around that 97, including Spencer Ray, who clipped the wall a little bit. Top 12 still on the lead lap. It was Lannon who just got his lap back not that long ago, and Aaron Smith.
Here comes Chin, and here comes Freilich. And I believe Armstrong, no, he'll stay.
He'll stay out.
Third place in.
Kiani, Baker, and Reif also all pinning, as well as Steven Gibson not too far behind these two.
So a big number of cars. The front 2 right now stayed out. That is Joe Armstrong. That is Jack Painter. Look at how loose Jack is now. You'd have to think that Joe's going to come this time.
The response to Chin pitting worked out for him great last time.
And yes, here it comes.
Yes, he is.
Gotta nail this, though. Can't speed. Think he was a little bit safer that time for sure. Did not lock the tires up. This will be crucial here. Chin is out of the pits.
Smith had a very quick pit stop at 9.8 for his service. Either short-fueled or only took 2 tires. One of the two. Probably short-fueled a ton in his 700.
Here comes Joe, and Jack Painter has joined him. So Painter not going to be able to make it, but this is going to be a massive play for him. Look who's going to cycle through your race lead, folks. Artie Farrell. How about it?
How about it?
He won't lead this lap. He's going to have to come around and stay out one more time to lead a lap. But Marty Farrell is currently a race leader. If the rain hits, this would be hilarious. We need the rain. We need the Weather Channel to come in. We need his sponsor to come in and create a storm. So I've changed my mind about weather shortened races on oval. This would be awesome. If we cycled, this would objectively be awesome. I don't care if Joe Armstrong gets completely screwed. This would be hilarious if this like once or twice a year in a given like season or something like that. I would love this. And Marty's gonna lead a lap.
Like, especially like this race has gone green. A solid 61 laps since the start. This is like as short as the race could possibly be. And normally we would think of like a rain delayed race as it's like you're racing against the rain, or like you have like caution that kind of like push the race back to where like the rain kind of comes in. But no, it's just this race has been clean and green, and we got a fight to the finish here as Smith with the shortened pit stop has jumped ahead of Armstrong to the tune of about a second and a half.
It's got to be 2 tires because the gap is tightening up. Aaron Smith is going to take the lead here off of turn number 4, but how long is he going to hold that lead is the question as they cross the line. 40.856 for Aaron Smith, 40.148 for Joe Armstrong, and the gap is just over 1 second. Looking back to 4th, it's Spencer Ray, and Josh Chin is going to sail it in underneath him. Chin easily the best on tires behind Armstrong. This is going to be an absolute battle throughout the rest of the top 10, though, to settle positions here throughout the final 10 or so laps. Just so many varying strategies. I think this might be the point in the race to potentially expect a caution with all the varying tires. Joe Armstrong has cut the lead down to half a second, and he is on the move. Marty Farrell pits finally. 12 laps to go. Oh, look at this massive.
Look at Joe. He is flying with the
He's gonna have
tire.
the lead.
He's gonna have the lead coming off of turn 2.
There it is.
There it is.
That was quick.
Did not wait. Waiting for nobody is Joe. Back into the lead.
And remember, this is Joe's first start of the OSRL season. He joined us for the Speedway 200 in the broadcast booth. He's been having some prior commitments of whatever the case may be for the other cup actually I forget if he wasn't here for the whatever. He's not been here for the first couple of weeks. I feel like it technically is the 4th week of the OSRL season because we had the duels, but not a points race, so I don't know, man. Joe hasn't been here to this point. That's the point.
Joe hasn't been here, and he needs a good result because he's had a pretty rough go to start out his FTF GNS series campaign. He's been like the best car for like a couple of rounds, and it just fell apart in his hands. And this was one of the races where he probably should have won in the GNS series, and he's looking to get a little bit of vengeance as well, as we are within 10 laps to go, and still a lot of positions in doubt in the rest of the top 10.
This is Painter getting past Lannon. Painter certainly would have liked to have had a better cycle there than he did. It was in the pits for 14.5 seconds, and getting caught behind some of these guys. This is Pervalericus and Stuckwish going at it. This is for a spot in the top 10 between these two. 2-lap fresher tires for Pervalericus should give him the advantage. Estes into the pits once again. Mac Painter definitely the guy to keep an eye on back here. He's going to get around Bobby Blazer, which developed into a solid, consistent run here for Bobby. He's looking to hang on to a top 10 spot. Harry Grindell with some alternate tire strategy, also looking to go on to a top 10 spot. Gavin Newton just gave himself a penalty by driving over the cone. I wonder if they'll clear that for him, because that's always been a bullshit penalty.
It is a bullshit penalty, and Gavin's just trying to get out of the way. He's a couple of laps off the pace, but still trucking out there. Happy to be here after initially spinning with the help from Christian Gamboa about lap 5 or so into this race.
We got battles back here
we got brawling. I think it's Josh Goslin who's 3 wide with, I believe it's Griffin Jones and Josh Stoltz, or he was 3 wide with them. it's Kiani and Gosselin now coming to blows for 22nd through 3 and 4.
Kiani got to get that spot. Definitely not the race that Gosselin would have wanted after last week, but a lot of parity developing, you know, so far the first couple of weeks of the season. That Atlanta last week really opened the door for a lot of unique point situations and a lot of unique race, you know, a lot of unique podium finishers, so on and so forth. And it's a great battle right here. This is 7th, 8th, and 9th. Jack Painter has gotten around this group, and he's glad that he did because they are going at it hard, 3 wide off of turn number 4.
It is Schmidt, Grindel, and Blazer all on similar tire life, all very, very aged Goodyear rubber for the 3 of them, and Pervolaricus behind, waiting in the wings for an opportunity. He could go 4 wide if he wanted to, if he was a little bit closer. The lane was there between Blazer and Grindel, and he's thinking about it off turn 2.
Do it, Chris.
Schmidt's in the wall. Staggered 4 turns into 2x2. Back to 3. Pervolaricus, Blazer, Grindel, bottom to top. Pervolaricus looking to get 3 positions in the span of a lap.
And he might do it because look at Bobby Blazer. He gets tight on corner exit.
Oh, Grindel, he's got it.
Arrow tight as well because of that 90, and Pervolaricus through to 7th. How about that? From 10th spot to 7th in the span of a lap.
Trying to get past Steven Gibson for 4th. Aaron Smith all over the back of Josh Chin for 2nd. Chin's still trying to get a move on, trying to catch Armstrong, but the gap is back to about 3.2 seconds. And now probably focusing a little bit more behind on the 700. Ray going to the bottom to try and get good run middle of the corner on Gibson, and through a 2x2 with Blazer, Grindel, Stuckwish, and Schmidt for the last spots in the top 10.
There is a lot of stuff for me to click on here.
Grindel's in the wall.
Look out. Stuckwish going to look to the bottom. Didn't really get a fantastic run. He's not going to be able to clear. Just barely is on the 70. And William Schmidt's just doing all that he can to stay alive here.
Grindel getting blocked in a little bit by Stuckwish. Schmidt's loose off of 2. Loses a lot of time to Grindel. Cole Freilic's way outside of the top 10 as well. He had a speeding penalty, it looked like.
He had a massive, he was in the box for 10 seconds longer than he needed to be. I'm not sure what the situation was there. It certainly might have been a pit stop. I'm not really sure what that was because...
A penalty or bad angle?
Something
or
like
too forward, too far back, something along the sorts. But he was in the top 5 for most of the race. The points leader is going to be finishing maybe 8th or 9th at the best here. We're coming to 4 to go.
Yeah, he's going to need
3 to go.
He's going to need to do a lot of work too to get up to any of these positions. It's going to be 3 cars stacked on top of each other. He's sliding it too. Probably not too happy. We got too many things going on right now throughout this field. Greg Kalhoff is battling with Dylan Falovich and Isaac Johnson and Nathan Kiani. Here goes Jack Painter for 5th on Spencer Ray. What a strategy it's been for Jack Painter. He is going to nail it to a T. Might even get Steven Gibson here for 4th with 3 laps to go. Joshua Chin has opened up the gap on Aaron Smith. It looks like he's going to be able to get 2nd spot. That battle not over yet. It's about a second. This is our closest battle on track right now. They've fizzled out for the moment. Remember, Kalhoff, as I mentioned earlier, 2 top 10 finishes to start the year. Only 3 drivers have done that. Spencer Ray and Cole Freilich being the others, and if things hold, it'll be Spencer Ray the only man to have done that in all 3 races of the season. 2 laps to go, and I mean, we barely have even looked at Joe Armstrong on this run because the action has all been elsewhere. But he is absolutely checked out.
Armstrong has played the in-lap, out-lap game better than everybody else today, and that's kind of been the big difference. Got most of his gap on that initial pit sequence because of just an incredible in-lap compared to Chin. Gained 2 seconds there and was able to just run qualifying laps his own way. The rest of the way, he's got 1 more lap here at Fontana to take the victory.
3.5 seconds is the gap, and it's been that for most of this green flag run. And how about that? We're going to go green flag all the way to in this OSRL Storm Engineering Premier Series race. Tyler Lannon into the wall off of turn number 4. Going to be so many battles to document here as we come down to the checkered flag. Steven Gibson is under pressure from Jack Painter for 4th, but off of turn number 4, Joe Armstrong, first OSRL race of the season. He's going to dominate a completely green flag race and win an Auto Club. The West Coast Grand Prix presented by Con Software goes to Joe Armstrong. Josh Chin will be second across the line for 3rd. Look out, Steven Gibson spins! Jack Painter will be 4th, pending some further verification. Gibson slides across the line in 5th. Here they come for further positions throughout the field. Side-by-side battles everywhere. Freilich got 12th. Baker
he just
lost
sniped.
13th to Reif by 0.02 of a second.
It was Schmidt and Freilich who were very tight at the line. Reif will get 13th for his troubles. We'll need to see what happened to Steven Gibson coming off of turn 4, first and foremost.
Well, my apologies here. I went a little bit too far back, but that's okay.
You went a little too far back.
Now we want to go a little bit further back. There we go.
Gotta get the VCR going.
Man, Steven was gonna have it here, and he ends up getting loose and
so did Painter. They both gassed it up way early to try and get as much as they could on exit, and the difference in tires between Painter and Smith meant that Smith was not able to save it, and Painter was, or Gibson rather, and that's allowed Painter to get 4th here.
Oh, and that's got to be frustrating for Steven Gibson. Could have been worse. He slides across the line in reverse in 5th spot.
Still gets 5th.
And this was this was close between him and Spencer Ray to the line. I'm not sure if the roll bar camera might give us a good look at this, but this was 0.03 of a second at the line between Steven Gibson and Spencer Ray.
Yeah, they were.
Look at this. Dead heat across. I'm gonna try to see if we can get a good shot of this.
Let's get the photo finish camera of that one. That'd be a great bit.
Can we? I want the scenic cam of this. Anyways.
Well, you tried. It is Joe Armstrong winning a OSRL race that went wire-to-wire green over Josh Chin and Aaron Smith, too. Jack Painter, Steve Gibson, your top 5. Spencer Ray, Chris Pervolarikis, Bobby Blazer, Ethan Stuckwish, Harry Grindell will round out your top 10.
There it was across the line.
There it was.
Spencer Ray just barely loses out on the top 5 spot.
Outside the top 10, you have William Schmidt, Cole Freilich, Caden Reif, Tristan Baker, Isaac Johnson, Nathan Kiani, Greg Kowhoff, Dylan Falovich, Josh Gosselin, Griffin Jones was in 20th. On the second page of your timing and scoring, we had Kyle Ritchie, Tyler Lannon, Josh Stoltz, Nolan Sanford, Dane Stinton, Kevin Ritchie, Marty Farrell, who did get a lap lead, Mo Perry, Gavin Newton were the last ones to finish, and then Ruby Estes, Christian Gamboa, AJ Green, and Nick Roten all had their problems throughout the night. They did not see the finish.
That is the first wire-to-wire OSRL race in a while, I feel.
In a hot minute, yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last time, and especially on an oval. I feel like it's happened pretty recently on a road course, but on an oval, a relative rarity. We usually get at least 1 or 2.
I feel like the international road race is usually the one that we do get to go green to the end. More than likely. I could be wrong, but Joe Armstrong, a winner at Auto Club Speedway. He's in the waiting room. He's waiting for an interview.
Let's talk to him. Joe Armstrong, you won tonight at an OSRL at Auto Club. First of all, did you expect that race to go green? And as it developed into a green flag race, how did you kind of plan for that with your pit stops? That first pit stop, I at least thought that you'd sped on pit road, but I think that was super important in getting you past Chin there.
Yeah, shout out to Josh for sure. He gave me a really good battle there in that first run.
That was an awesome battle for the lead. I will say, I mention that. Shout out that as well. But
He
go ahead.
he got around me. Around I guess lap 6 or 7 maybe, and he had the top roll in there, and he mentioned that Triffin made the top work last time we raced here, and it kept the tires on it better
Rest in
than
peace,
before.
Triffin.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, rest in peace to him. But yeah, so it was hard to get around him. Then he got in the fence, and got stuck in 1 and 2, and at that point I got around him and was able to kind of maintain the 2/10, 3/10 gap there as we were driving away from everyone else. And then we got around lap 20ish, I realized that we couldn't one stop it. Like we were just like a few laps off of being able to cut it in half. And so I was like, maybe I was thinking the call would be to go 30, 60, and then have 15 laps to make up as much ground as I need. And then guys started pitting around lap 27ish. And I was at that point, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just wait until whenever Josh and Cole and them pit, that's when I'm gonna pit, or like the lap after, because I like to be on the offensive end when trying to when racing. I like to be on the offensive end. So I came on pit road, had a 1.5 or 2 second gap, and at that point it would just maintain. I knew Aaron was gonna be on a couple lap pressure tires, and they kind of stagnated at 3.5 seconds. He took 2, gave me a little scare there. When I came off pit road and he was 2 seconds ahead of me, I was like, "There's no way he gained 6 seconds in 2 laps." And so, got to like the next corner, and I was like, "Oh, he's on 2." So at that point, it was just like get around him and then just manage, because I didn't know if we were going to get a caution. And as the leader, you don't know what people are behind you are going to do. Usually they do the opposite. So I was like, okay, just save just in case. And luckily, no yellow. Shout out to the field for sure, because I heard last week was pretty bad. So
Honestly, yeah,
um,
we've had like that was like almost like a complete 180 in how race in a race. I mean, last week was a wreck fest, no doubt, and completely green. Jack Painter says he believes that this is the first green flag race ever, green flag oval race ever in OSRL.
yeah,
With the fact that you're going to be somewhat part-time this year, I'm not sure if you're going to be going for all the races the rest of the season or whatever the case may be, but since you've missed a couple of races this season already and the points battle may not be there for you, how are you going into these OSRL races? Saw kind of early in that with the battle with Chin on the first run that you guys were pretty aggressive with the slide jobs and racing hard, having fun, but is your mindset going into these races any different knowing that you might not be in the points race?
it definitely allows me a little bit more freedom on strategy and stuff. Not necessarily with how I race guys, because obviously I want to race with the most respect as possible. And I made I had one slide job on Josh that was pretty dog shit. I'm gonna be honest. It was in 3 and 4, and I like
It was
stopped in the middle of the corner.
it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool though. It was fun.
I'm sure it looked cool. He crossed over and
Yeah,
made the pass back, but it was a little sketchy there for him. And I thought he was gonna I thought he was gonna roll the top and just roll around me, and then he tried to cross over, and I was like, shit. And yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I like I said, it allows me for more freedom for sure. I'm not gonna be racing next week, which is very, very unfortunate, because I love short tracks. And they're gonna be at Kern next week, so hopefully it's not a bad race. Short tracks on iRacing are pretty shit showy, but
Yeah,
I got a lot of faith in the drivers after what I saw tonight, that they can hopefully put on a decent show.
I hope so too. I'll have to buy that track, which will be fun, but we have to buy it for GNS probably anyway, so that's all right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hey, Joe, thanks for being here, and congrats on winning the race. You're always welcome in the booth as you were for the Speedway 200 and stuff. We appreciate your presence, man, and congratulations. That was a lot of fun out there tonight. That was
fun.
That was a fun race to watch.
All right, I will see you guys next week after my race, after my Road to Pro race, and out.
Hell yeah. Hey, good luck in that, man.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's Joe Armstrong, your winner tonight at Auto Club. And now we'll talk to the man who came up in second place. I'm excited to talk to Joe next week because he's probably the best racer, and one of the best short track racers that we have in OSRL on a weekly basis. He'll be able to give us a little bit of insight into how you got to drive those cars on the short tracks, I think, especially at a new one like Kern County. Let's talk to Josh Chin, who came up just short in second place. Josh Chin, P2 tonight, but after the first couple weeks of the season, that might be a little bit of a relief to hear, at least compared to last year where it was a lot of second places. I guess how did you? I kind of asked the same question to Joe. How'd you play the strategy out there? As it went longer into the green run, and it felt like, hey, we might actually go green here. You guys had an awesome battle on that in that first run, but then it developed into a strategy race pretty much.
Honestly, I played pretty poorly. I should have just matched Joe. He cooked me on the in lap and the pit stop and everything, and had fresher tires after that too by about a lap or two. So I think I should have just matched him all the way through. I had him on pace as the run went on, and I didn't take advantage of it. I was trying to be funny with trying to short pit and jump him, and I didn't need to. But yeah, that first run was amazing. That's probably some of the most fun I've had battling in iRacing. And I hope we have another race like that this season, because it was honestly the most fun I think I've ever had in this car.
It was certainly a lot of fun to watch, and yeah, you guys were throwing sliders back and forth on each other, and yeah, I mean that's pretty much all you can hope for when you're in the driver's seat, is a battle like that.
Yeah, like a second kind of sucks after that race, but man, it was so much fun the first run that like anything that happened after that is kind of out of my mind, and just happy to get second place after, especially after, like you said, how the rest of the season started. 39 incidents through the rest of the season, 0 tonight. So
to say last week was not a very fun race for you, and you still managed to come back with a top 10, and you got a clean race out of it tonight finally.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more of these type races, less of the crash fest like Atlanta, and definitely some road courses too.
Hell yeah! Well, Josh Shin, good to finally see you on the get off of the I don't know, for lack of I don't know what word I'm thinking of. It completely escaped my mind, but you know,
the slide,
off the slide, off the schneid. That's what I was thinking of, the schneid.
Yeah,
there we go. But it's good to talk to you again, and hopefully we'll be having some more top 3 interviews with you throughout the season. That was a lot of fun to watch, and yeah, congrats on P2, Josh.
Thank you, guys.
That was Josh Shin, and you know, we'll talk to Aaron Smith now. He finished 3rd, last week's winner. Aaron Smith, P3 tonight. You won last week, and coming into tonight was a different track and certainly a way different race. How was it how was it in your mind, at least, I feel like, going from what the calamity of last week to just a complete opposite type of race, and long run, and compared to a lot of short bursts last week at Atlanta?
Well, it was nice to be able to gather a rhythm. I was quick for the first 20 laps of each run, and then after that I would just fall off immensely. And I think that might have been the difference there. I don't know if I would have been able to make an argument for second there at the end, but I tried to throw something at the wall there. Took 2 tires and wanted to get as big of a lead as I could, and I only got about 2 seconds, so fell back to 3rd, and I finished where I belonged. It's all right.
Yeah. Did you kind of go into that 2-tire call knowing that it was gonna, you know, end up making you a lot slower, but you wanted to just make that play for the potential to go out there and have enough? I assume that you wanted to have enough space out in front of Joe and not necessarily outpace him there at the end. That was your plan.
Yeah, I had a feeling I was guaranteed a top 5 regardless, but yeah, I've certainly tried to get ahead of him there. It just didn't work out, but can't ask for much more than 3rd.
Hell yeah, Aaron. Well, 2 straight top 3 interviews. We hope to make it some more, and hope to see you more throughout the season. Congratulations on the top 3.
Yeah, thank you. I'm looking forward to Kern. I don't have the track yet, but it should be a fun race.
I'm excited. I feel like there's going to be a lot of people going into that race with a lot of questions, and it might make for chaos, or it might make for good chaos. That's what we're hoping for. So hope to see you there, and good luck.
All right, thank you.
That was Aaron Smith II. Good group of guys to talk to in the top 3 tonight.
Good group of guys. Good points days overall. Cole Freilich did finish 12th.
And so, and I went into Discord. It's apparently Cole went in and added a click of fuel afterwards, and when you do that in iRacing, it just restarts the pit stop. So it just made him sit there for like a second or two, and then give him gas for like another 2 seconds, and then he had to go. So Cole Frelick got kind of fucked.
He got kind of fucked, but he and Spencer Ray, his Misery Motor Club teammate, still lead the way in the points. It's a 108 for Frelick, 104 for Ray. Aaron Smith, with his win last week and his third place this week, moves up to third in points, but 9 behind Frelick. Heading into the first short track of the season, we head down the interstate, stay in California. It's Kern County making its OSRL debut.
We are staying on the West Coast. Jonathan Oates with the... I think that's biased for Jonathan Oates so that he doesn't have to drive very far or potentially pay for airfare from his home. I
saves the teams a little bit of logistical
but then you got people like Jack Painter, and Jack Painter's having to fly cross country every single week for this. It's absolutely ridiculous. And
I mean, as in terms of the Painter road crew for the Painter Williams Racing, they have their backup car from this week set up for Kern County next week, so they can just kind of hang out in California for a week, have a little bit of vacation. So,
and if they ever
who is to say?
Then they can just import a car from Australia if they really need to. So,
well, then after that is the big road trip. It's cross-continental road trip after Kern County. It's the traditional road race opening of the season. It's Montreal, the start of April.
Hell yeah. Montreal is always one of the best trips on the calendar. And is that 2 weeks from now?
That is on April the 4th.
So I think that means that we'll have Joe Armstrong there. That won't be a Road to Pro race. I'm hoping that he'll be there because that'll be, I hope that we have as many road course aces, I suppose, as we can for that race. But we're gonna raid somebody. I think that NIS is over.
NIS is over.
But that's okay, because Brian Hicks is streaming 87. So, and we haven't rated Brian Hicks in a while.
We haven't rated Brian Hicks in a while.
I also have some beef with Brian Hicks because I never really know when he's in his Discord. He doesn't let me see when he's in his Discord, really, and it's kind of frustrating because I'd like to talk to Brian, but I never really know when
Brian is a good guy to talk to.
I really haven't talked to him that much since Daytona, but I'd like to talk to Brian.
Got a debrief with Brian.
So, I don't know. We're going to send the people over to Brian. Say hello to him. We really appreciate everybody who tuned in tonight.
And thank you to Diving Voisu, Moving Prairie 2, Oceanic Gavin, Sympathetics Bib, Festive Barge, Exuberant Troop, and Expedient.
Got a lot of followers. God damn.
For all for the follows tonight during our continuing coverage of the Storm Engineering OSRL Premier Series, the Con Software West Coast Grand Prix. Congrats to Joe Armstrong on winning tonight's race. It went fully green.
How about that? Shout out to Griffin Jones for sponsoring the last 2 weeks of OSRL. Shout out to Christian Gamboa for all that he does for OSRL. We didn't get a chance to really, give any shout outs or anything like that.
We're not doing ad breaks if we're going green. Let's be real.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's not in our fucking, that's not in our goddamn
If we're here to call a race, we're calling a damn race.
You're damn right.
My name's Josh Morgan. You also had Matt Spalding in the booth. Have a good night, everybody. Go say hello to Brian.
We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Rod Car. Second to last race of the season. And make sure to tune in. The points race is close. Can Daniel Falkingham potentially clinch the championship tomorrow night? It's in. He could do it, but it would take a lot. But tune in to find out. Go see Brian. God bless. Good night.
See ya.